Hello, back on track with Riverrun to the finished product. In the last video I said I was going to spend a couple of weeks on this, and it's happened really quickly. I'm so happy with the sound, I'm just going to put a line under it at this point. And discovered one great thing to do with processing vocals, which we'll talk about after we've listened to it, but this is the final mix of the song that I will release.
Painted from memory, summer days green and long, lazy and carefree, drunk on mist and rhyme, dressed like a new dawn, full of dreams yet to come, always the same song, sung with different lines. So when the night is done and the sun sends the shadows reeling into the bright light of your smile, just take a moment to hold me and stop this crazy feeling. Pause for a short while, this river run. Sharing our secrets on the lost sands of time, watching the seasons dance upon the floor. And if a reason cares to send a little sign, paint me a sunset finer than before. So when the night is done and the sun sends the shadows reeling into the bright light of your smile, just take a moment to hold me and stop this crazy feeling. Pause for a short while, this river run. Painted from memory, autumn leaves pure and gold, falling around me, lighting up the sky.
We'll get onto the vocals shortly, because that's the meat of the changes that have happened since the last time, but a brief discussion of the guitars as well, because both the primary acoustic guitar, the thing that lasts the entire song, and the solo got doubled, and I think to really nice effect. So you can hear the two instances are panned. One of them, so it's an identical copy. And one of them. first track, I've added a little bit of chorus. And it's just shimmering. So you can see that they're kind of staying out of each other's way from a frequency perspective. This is really sharp. It's surprising how sharp it is when you listen to it just on its own. It sounds like you're listening to it through a transistor radio. And then this is the soft one with that little bit of chorus. So I'm really pleased with that. I just thought it was a little bit one-dimensional because it was recorded mono and has been that way from the beginning. I never really questioned it. I was certainly never going to do anything with it. I was never going to record a second. I probably couldn't play it now. It took me weeks of practice to get to be able to play it properly. But I wanted to thicken it, so I just duplicated the track, split the EQ up, and that little bit of chorus on the left-hand side I think is really, really nice. When I say left-hand side, is it actually left-hand side? No, they're inverted, aren't they? So the top track is the one that's actually panned right. And having had such success with doubling that, I thought, well, let's give it a go on the solo as well. So the solo bus is here. Really fatten the delay out. So I don't think there's much excuse for not doing this, ever, really. Ironically, I haven't done it on the bass for this song. Most basses I duplicate, but I love the bass sound so much. I thought, you know what, I'm just not messing with it. I'm just really, really happy with it. I gave it a little bit of extra punch over the past week or so to give it some extra treble. It's a very quick. So those higher frequencies are really popping now. That's thanks to this amplitude plugin. And I just gave it some welly on the treble, a little bit of high boost. Really brought up that brightness. So I can't fault it, and therefore couldn't think of a single reason to actually mess with it. The guitar solo sounded fine, but it now sounds better that it's been duplicated. So that's great. I haven't duplicated the second part because it has its own layered effect anyway, with this folder of multiple takes of nearly the same thing. No need to do anything with that. That's already thick and rich because I recorded it so many times, but the primary solo I only recorded once, so was left with the option of duplicating it or nothing else. The drums had a little bit of tinkering, but nothing absolutely spectacular. Accentuated the congas. I think I've put EQ on them both. So here are the two conga lines, and you can tell that I've just boosted. I played it back, looked at it in the spectrum analyzer, and just boosted where each of the drum sounds was concentrating. Really simple. And I've not done anything else on either side. It's just a little bit of boost. Now, finally, the vocals. What have we done? So here's the lead vocal track itself, and this is the new thing. This is a sidechain pointing at the vocal reverb. So I'll put a compressor at the top of the vocal reverb with an instant attack, very, very low threshold, pretty high ratio. So it's a brutal compressor, and it's taking a sidechain feed from the vocal line. So what's going to happen is that whenever Pauline is singing, the compressor is going to almost completely eradicate any of the effects that come afterwards, so no signal gets to the delay or the reverb, and we hear a clean sung sound. The moment she stops singing, well, we've got a reasonably long release. 400 milliseconds is quite a long time, probably too long, frankly. I might just pull that in before the final mix. It lets go, the compressor lets go and lets the reverb and delay come in. So let's hear that.
Painted from memory, summer days green and long, lazy and carefree, drunk on mist and rhyme, dressed like...
So you can hear when she's singing, the compressor is almost fully on. There's very little actually escaping if there's signal to the side chain, and then when she stops, as the compressor, as the red line of the compressor tails away, it's basically allowing the reverb and delay to fill the space that's left by her silence. But what it means is that we're not getting cluttered delays interfering with the primary sound while she's actually singing.
It's like a new dawn, full of dreams yet to come. Always the same song, sung with different lines.
There you heard that the longest delay, the longest silence lets the delay really breathe. We have exactly the same kind of concept on the harmony bus. Because all of the effects after the compressor are going to be very heavily attenuated by whatever source that you're sending in, you can't have the same delay and reverb operating for both the main vocal and the harmony vocal because they're singing different things. So we set up a second track that's got its own reverb, basically duplicate the effect. You can see there's harmony reverb and vocal reverb, so they used to be the same thing, but then and the only difference is that harmony reverb takes a sidechain input from the sung harmonies instead.
So when the night is done and the sun sends the bright light of your smile.
And there you heard, after smile, we heard the echo bounce, but while the harmonies are actually singing, there is no echo.
Hold me now. Roll on, Riverrun.
I have Warren Huart at Produce Like a Pro to thank for this. I'll put a link down to his video below where he discusses this concept. Absolutely game changing. These are the kinds of things that I want to learn. These are skills, genuine tips. This is how to do this thing better. If you want to put delay or reverb on your vocals, particularly delay, but it doesn't really matter any effect, and you want to suppress that effect while the vocal is active, then sidechain is obviously the way to go, and this is just a perfect illustration of how to do that job. Absolutely wonderful, and it really cleans the vocals out. So with those two, with both the lead vocal and the harmony having their own sidechain inputs, their own suppression of reverb and delay, the entire thing is much less cluttered.
So when the night is done and the sun sends the shadows reeling into the bright light of your smile,
I'm really happy with that vocal sound. I think it's wonderful. And that's it. I'm not going to beat this song into submission and just keep going round and round the houses. I'm going to mix it and finalise it as it is. I'm going to come back and review all of the songs that I've written so far at some point in the future. I said I was going to do it after a year. I might leave it a little bit longer because I want to try to acquire as many of these skills as I possibly can, so that when I come back and review everything that I've mixed and called as good as I could do at the time, I've got a genuinely new set of skills that I'm excited to apply. I don't think I've acquired enough experience like this. These are gems that once you know them, you think, well, when am I ever not going to do that? If I put delay on a vocal in the future, I can't imagine not using this technique because it's just better. It just gets the effect out of the way when you don't want it, and you get a better sound. Well, I'm going to have better all the time. Thank you very much. So excellent. Every song, there should always be one major level at the moment. It just happens to come right at the end with this one, and that's absolutely fine. Really happy with that. Hope you liked the song, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, hit notifications, and then hopefully it'll be a new song on the way soon. I have no idea what I'm going to do. Brilliant. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.